Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today we are going to be making one of my favorite things, which is a cuff bracelet. So I have my insert ready, and then I have all my clay rolled out already. It's on my number 6. That's my third thinnest on my pasta machine, and you can see it is fairly thin. Because we are using an insert, we do not need thick clay. I have my paper, and I really wanted to just kind of do something different and beautiful. So I'm going to take my white clay and I'm just going to put it right down. And then I'm just going to rub it down on there and let that sit for a little bit. You want that ink to absorb into your clay. Make sure it's fully down on there. So give it a good rub. And then I'm just going to let that sit for a little bit. Let me get rid of this. And then you can see I have my gold clay rolled out as well. I am going to do a faux metal look, like a hammered look, on the inside and on the sides of it. So I'm going to use a small ball tool, and then I'm going to go up in size 2 sizes, okay? So to do that, I went ahead and I kind of did this already because it takes a while. I'm going to do a bunch of small ones first. And the reason you want different sizes is because it gives you more of a realistic hammered look. If I just went like this with just this size ball tool, it doesn't look very nice. I'm going to keep these somewhat close. And then I will take my larger one and then just go all over that. And you want to keep these close as well, but not too close, because you really want all the different sizes mixed up. And then to finish it off, I'll take the next size and just complete it. And there, then we have our beautiful slab. Now I'm going to have to do that on this part, but I need to see how much of the clay I need. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to do the inside first. And the first thing you want to do is get your Sculpey oven baked clay adhesive and just put that all inside. And that'll help your clay stick to your insert. And I'm going to make sure I get all of it. I'm going to take my blade and I'm going to lift this up. And then carefully just place this inside. And you can see I'm going to push down and make sure no air is stuck under there. You do not want air inside underneath the clay, because then it becomes a big pocket when you bake it. And it just becomes a real mess, and it's hard, and you just can't fix it, and it's just ugly looking. You can see I'm just trimming it up. And then I'm once again just going to press down because I can feel air under there. So I want to make sure I have no air. And just press that up. I want that around the edge. I like my clay to go up just slightly to the edge here. You see that? That's going to tell me I'm going to have air. So I need to press that down and make sure all the air is out. If you kind of made a mess, like mushed out some of your hammered look, you could kind of take your tool and just redo those areas from your hands. You can see how pretty that looks now. I love doing this faux metal look. It just looks so nice. All right, so now set that off to the side. Next, I'm going to grab my water, and then I'm just going to spray down my paper. And I want to make sure I get all my paper wet. As it gets wet, it kind of dissolves the paper, and you'll start to see it right away. It gets like this, like wet toilet paper look, and you'll see it'll start to come off like wet tissue, toilet paper, something along those lines. Let that sit for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then we're going to take our blade, put it on an angle, and then start pulling that paper off. And you'll get all this extra paper. So then what I'd like to also do after that is I can see there's still paper on there. So I'm going to take my water once again. I'm going to get it wet. And then I'm going to take my fingers and just lightly rub it. Now I'm not pushing on it hard. I'm just doing a light little rub, and that'll take all the extra paper off. If you feel like it's having a hard time coming off, let it soak first. Just give it some more time to soak, and then your paper will come right off, guys. Now, some people like to do the paper, get it wet, take it off, and then leave the little bit of paper on and then scrub it off afterwards. I personally do not do that. This is what I do. I like to get all my paper off before I bake it. And you could feel the difference. I mean, you know right away the difference between paper and your clay. Okay. And then I'm going to take my blade one more time and pull all that off. So you can see all that extra paper that was on there. And then I just take my little wipey. I go over Just kind of blot it up a bit. And now I'm going to let that dry. While that dries, I'm going to take this piece of clay and I'm going to start doing some of the hammered look because I want some of my hammered look to be on the sides of my bracelet. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm thinking I'm probably only going to need a small section because this is pretty large, which means that this part right here is going to fill most of my piece. So I think I only need a small section. So I'm going to do just a little bit and get my faux hammered look on some of this. Okay. Next, I am going to take my paper here, or my clay, I'm sorry. And I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to get this as straight as I can so everything lines up beautiful. One of the things that I like to do is kind of measure out exactly where I want my piece to go. So these flowers mainly are what I want. I'm going to save these ones for for earrings. All right. So put that off to the side, and I'll do earrings with those later. And these ones I'll do earrings with later. All right. Now I can see I still have a little bit of paper on here. So I am going to get that off. And the reason why is because it makes my paper look dark. Like very fuzzy looking. So you know right away if there's paper on there. So I can actually feel it coming off now. It's right on my black. I can feel it all on the black. Okay. And I could tell that's going to fit fairly well there. So I should not need too much of my gold. So I'm going to cut this right in half. I want a nice straight edge. Make sure my table is dry. And then I'm going to butt this right up against there. And I want to make sure that that sticks together. And sometimes it's really hard to make sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my small tool here and push that up against my other clay. Make sure. Okay. Next, I'm going to get my clay adhesive one more time. And then make sure that I'm covering the top portion. I gotta tell you, I absolutely love this paper and these inserts. They just make everything so beautiful and easy to use. And you can make so many really nice pieces so simply by using this. So now I'm going to make sure everything is even. So now I can feel my paper, not my paper, I keep saying my paper. My clay is slightly tacky. I'm going to take baby powder and I'm going to put baby powder over it. This way I could touch it and know I'm not going to smear my ink that's on there. So just get your baby powder and then you could push it down. Oh, okay, so that's not even. I'm gonna make sure it's even. All right, so I'm a little off. That's okay. We will get that to go where we need it to go. I'm just going to stretch this just a tad bit. All right, so that's pretty even there. Now I need that little bit, so you know what? I'm going to take this, and this is one of the things that I love about working with my clay as well, is because I did not measure it 100%, now I could just take a little bit of my clay and line it up and make sure everything matches up perfect. Don't pull that too far apart. Line everything up real nice. I'm going to take my tool once again. I'm going to take the bigger tool and just pinch those together. I want you to know, just because things don't go exactly the way that you plan, like this, I thought I had enough clay. There are ways with clay you can fix it. So do not stress over it, guys. You see how I'm just pushing it down on there? I'm going to seal it together. Get my smaller one. When I trim this, I'm leaving a little bit of a gap. That way I still have clay to pull over. I want both of my clays to touch and seal together. And that'll ensure that my piece is going to stay really nice together. Look how beautiful. Is that not gorgeous? And I'm also making sure there's no air underneath. All right, now I want to make sure these are really nice together. All right. So now I just need to clean up all my edges here because they look pretty shoddy right now. I want to make sure everything looks real nice. And I'm going to take my sponge here, and then I will texture the sides. And while I texture, that's going to help seal everything real nice together. You see how all that clay is starting to bunch together real nice? That's what you want. Look how beautiful. It looks so nice. I really do love playing with transfer paper and my cuff bracelets. I just think they look so pretty together. All right, so next I'm going to get my mica powder. And I want my gold mica powder. And then I am going to carefully go on the inside and just give it that little extra shine. So it gives me that actual like faux metal look. Because as much as Sternet and Primo have those beautiful golds, they never look like real gold. So if you use your mica powder and just go over it on the top layer, it will end up with a gorgeous shine. And then, so here I want to give it more of a hammered look because I kind of flattened some of it out by playing around so much. So just go over it one more time. And then carefully and I will keep wiping my fingers off as I'm moving around because I don't want my gold on my actual transfer paper. All right, so now what I'll do is I'll clean this all up after it's baked. And when I say clean up, I mean like make it look real nice. So I'll probably edge it off with a marker or something. So place that in your oven. I'll bake this for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we'll come back and finish it up. All right, guys, my piece is out of the oven. What I ended up doing was I took my chrome marker, I edged around the side, and I put a little bit on the top here. I did glaze the inside, but I'm going to resin the top here, but I want to show you how gorgeous that looks. Is that not beautiful? So what I want to do now, and the reason I'm going to put resin on is I'm going to put some of these little mini diamonds on just to bring some more to this piece. I really want it to be a special piece. So as you can see, like I said before, I edged everything in gold. And that cleaned up the sides beautifully. So you don't have to worry about any of that white from the transfer paper showing. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a very thin layer of resin on. And actually, you know what? Let me get, where are you? Oh, right here. I have resin in this bottle. So I'm just going to use this brush and I'm going to go over it. Now I'm not putting it on thick because I don't need it to be thick. I just want this on. It will give it a gorgeous shine, plus it'll give something for my little faux gemstones to stick onto. As long as you don't put it on thick, you don't have to worry about anything dripping. I love this paper. This paper is so beautiful. And look how bright those colors are. Is that not gorgeous? And the resin just really makes the colors pop. I mean, just absolutely stunning. I'm always amazed on how much the pieces come out when you put resin on them. And you can see I'm not going to do resin on anything else, just the paper. So I'm going to get my wax tip here. And then I'm just going to place my little stones right around and just give it that little extra bling. And I don't need too many of these gemstones. I just want a few here and there. I mean, look how beautiful that is, guys. Is that not gorgeous? Oh, I love this. I cannot wait to wear this. So now I'm going to get my lighter. I'm going to go over the entire piece. Make sure there are no bubbles in this because you don't want to go through all this work and then have it ruined by having bubbles in your resin. And now I'll put this under my UV light and then we will see what it looks like. And there it is. How gorgeous is that piece? I think this is just beautiful. Now I have decided I am going to resin this section here. I'm not going to do the gold. I put the gloss glaze, the Sculpey gloss glaze on that. But is that not beautiful? God, I really love this piece. Look at that. That is going to be so eye-catching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that I was able to teach you something. If you did, please give a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all next time. Bye.